Welcome to the Rankin Report for Sunday, July 2nd, 2023. And a happy Independence Day weekend to all of you. From the book of Galatians, Paul's letter to the Galatians, his first letter that he ever wrote, chapter 5. I'm not going to read you the whole chapter, but I do want to read 3 selected verses. A little yeast works through the whole batch of dough, verse 9. And then verses 14 and 15, if you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. In professional baseball, there is a concept known as the farm system. Even though we are now in the period of the season where we're approaching the middle of the season and teams make a lot of player trades, the basic way a team is built is for prospects with talent to be developed and refined by playing for minor league teams in different levels, Class A, Class AA, Class AAA, before hopefully advancing to the major league team the minors are affiliated with. Whether or not we have recognized it as such, a similar thing is being asked of believers regarding the political arena. Believers who see the danger of Marxism and other ungodly philosophies infesting our political and social systems are being encouraged to re-enter the fight, as it were, for our country. We are asked to return to the battlefield we abandoned. There is truth in this, for because of weariness, selfishness, bad theology, or a combination of all three, we turned our attention away from our role as the source of political power, as designed by the Founding Fathers, and toward our own interests. This left a vacuum in which Satan has been working very hard to push anything and everything that is not of God, to the point that now even our children are threatened. And so we cry out to God, and He's telling us, essentially, get back on the job, while He does what only He can do. As we re-enter the field, however, we must be careful to do things God's way and not our own. You may recall others in the past getting into the political arena because they didn't like where we as a nation seemed to be going. The Tea Party movement most recently comes to mind. Most of these folks came in with the best of intentions, but were not prepared for the length and breadth and depth of the problem. Eventually, these people were either consumed by what we now refer to as the swamp, becoming part of the problem they came in to fight, or tired, frustrated, and discouraged, they left. Either way, many of these neophytes depended upon their own flesh, their own strength, and were ineffective. But if we return to the field under the command of the captain of the Lord's host, who is Jesus, if you refer back to the captain of the host meeting Joshua 5:13 through 18, and guided by the Holy Spirit, then we will be the agent, the envoy, if you will, of the one whose word inspired the founders to create the Constitution in the first place. We are to influence the system, not the other way around. This is why participation in local or county party organizations, county commissions, school boards, and other small, low-level entities are critically necessary. We are to be the yeast, the leaven, if you prefer the older term, that works its way through these batches. It is from these people, it is from them, that people are advanced by God to state and national levels, much like God told the church at Antioch to set aside Saul of Tarsus and Barnabas for special work, Acts chapter 13, verses 1 and 2. If most or all of the batch be leavened, the odds are good that candidates for higher office will spread that influence to those higher levels. Now, most of you hearing this are probably thinking that doing things this way will serve to weed out the rhinos, Republicans in name only. But this is not just for the GOP. This is also for those of you in the Democratic Party who, though silent or possibly silenced, are thinking that your party has gone too far in what it supports. And there's evidence that that's starting to appear. This struggle is for the entire nation, not just the red or the blue, because these days they look far too much like each other. President John Adams famously said that the Constitution was, quote, made for a moral and a religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. In plain English, if God ain't in it, it don't work. So regardless of your party, bring God into the picture as you step back onto the field and do things His way. Your enemy is not necessarily the one who is on the other side of the aisle in Congress, legislature, or council. It is the wicked who have seized control in the vacuum we created when we withdrew. Let him do what we cannot, and watch what happens to this country. Pray for the Great Awakening. No king but Jesus. Independence forever. And on this Independence Day weekend, resolve to take your stand, whatever it may be, for our country. I always like to post on social media the song from the musical 1776, where John Adams sings, "Is anybody there? Does anybody care? Does anybody see what I see?" I'll post a link to the song on YouTube in the comments below the post. But I think more and more that people are answering that question with an unqualified yes. In ways that may seem big or that may appear small, no action we take is insignificant. That's the Rankin Report for Sunday, July 2nd, 2023. Enjoy yourself on the 4th. Stay safe, God bless you, and have a great day.